John here, checking in. Figured I'd make a video here while I'm walking around. So I ran into a guy today who was about 21 years old, and he was just lost, kind of didn't know what to do for work, career, whatever. And I was talking to him, I was like, hey, so what have you been doing? Oh, just odd jobs at construction, did this, did that. It's like, don't know that I want to do that forever. Maybe be a carpenter, maybe be an electrician, maybe be a office person. He just had no clue. And I thought to myself, okay, well, a lot of times when you run to young people like this, boy or girl, really what they need to do is grow up, right? It's like they need to figure out what to do, live their life, and like just learn what's going on. So I told him, I was like, why don't you move? So here's the logic behind that. So let's say you live in a big city. I'm going to use Minneapolis as an example because I lived there for quite a while. And so let's say you're in Minneapolis and you're a kid out of the house looking for a job. Okay. So it's probably the same rent if you moved to Hutchinson, Minnesota, which is off to the west, versus living in Minneapolis. I think you can get a place for $700 to $1,000 a month, no problem in Hutch, and you can get a cheap place in some sketchy areas of Minneapolis for like $700 a month, maybe $800 most of the time. Okay, so we'll just call that a wash. But I helped my younger cousin look for a job in Minneapolis area, and we were starting him out with material handling coordinator roles, some office roles, sales support, whatever it might be. And he had very little uptake from jobs like shipping and receiving coordinator, for example, which is a role that I know very well because I hired many times for that role when I was managing the facility that I used to run. And I'll tell you what, if you're out in Hutchinson, Minnesota, or a lot of these small towns that really aren't that small, one of the bigger ones in the county it's in, and you apply for a job like shipping and receiving coordinator or sales support role or all those sorts of jobs out there, you're going to find that you get interviewed even if you're a young person like straight out of high school without a ton of experience. Why? Because they're just not finding people out there. Everyone's moving to the cities. All the young people are, you know, going into family work or whatever it might be, and they just can't find them. I'll tell you right now, when my cousins were interviewing for jobs, I was helping them out. I was just astonished because they weren't getting callbacks from first shift roles for material handling, which you can make, $19 to $23 an hour material handling, depending on what type of company it is, what type of work they do. And if you're willing to do a second shift, third shift sort of thing, you can make even more, right? Because they do differential shift wage increases. But that always just amazed me because, like, I could not find people when I was hiring out there. And I was hiring 20, 21 an hour for like basic entry level roles. So if you're a person who is just out of high school and you're like, hey, I got to figure out what to do, or maybe you graduated college with a degree that people don't really want to hire for, art, in the case of one of my cousins, move. Move maybe 45 minutes to an hour outside like the major suburbs ring of any big city into the little towns that are probably anywhere between 10 and 50,000 people, depending on what town you're at, and apply for jobs out there. And specifically, get into these roles that are really entry level, boots in the ground, hands on the stuff, right? Physical, tangible jobs. Why? Because they're always looking for people out in the middle of nowhere. Almost always. I know 4 or 5 production facilities like that right now that are just always looking. And then if you're good at what you're doing, they're going to give you the chance, like, hey, do you want to be an inventory specialist? Do you want to be the ship receiving coordinator? Do you want to be the lead of the team doing all the technical tasks on top of the day-to-day hands-on work? I think I promoted 2 people up from handler into lead coordinator or like supervisory roles. I know one that just got promoted in a different facility at the company that I work for, in the same sort of situation. He was literally in for 3 to 4 months. Then they switched him over to be a inventory specialist role, and that comes with a big pay bump. And you work with systems, you work with inventory, you work with the stats. You get to learn the system side of computer work. So if you're really just not sure what to do, go get one of those jobs, get promoted up, try everything. If you don't like working on systems, you don't like working with computers, cool. Then just move back into a leader or supervisor role in the same sort of work you were just doing. But it's going to be the same cost of living, maybe cheaper if you're outside of the cities far enough, and you're going to make similar pay, or at least you'll be able to get past that barrier to entry into the roles that you really want to get that will pay you that 20 plus an hour starting, which a lot of people I know have trouble getting right away. So just some food for thought. Figured I'd record that one here, and have a great night.